Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel, and today I have a book box to share with you. It was not sent to me for a review. Now occasionally Once Upon a Book Club will send me a box for a review, but I am a subscriber. I go ahead and do a 3-month subscription at a time, and one of the things that I really appreciate about Once Upon a Book Club, besides the curations that they put together to go along with the selected novels, is that their customer service is fantastic. So if I ever read a hint for an upcoming book that doesn't sound like it's going to work with my particular genre tastes, or maybe I'm just really busy, it's very easy to skip, or you can even change and switch to the young adult selection that month if that sounds like something you will enjoy more. But they've been really great about everything, so I really appreciate them. Now I do have a referral code and link for you if you are interested in subscribing and trying out this kind of OG book subscription where there are gifts that correspond to certain pages for each book. It is just Noel10. That'll save you 10%, but I will leave the link for you in the description box below as well. So the adult selection, and they do have middle grader, young adult, adult, and then they also do all kinds of limited edition boxes. We actually use their summer limited edition box for our book club here on the channel just a few months ago, and then we also are going to be using one of their Halloween boxes for our final discussion, and that will be in just a couple of days, honestly. So if you're looking to join a fun book club, we usually try to go quarterly. We will also be doing that again in the new year. So we'll be selecting our first read for 2025 pretty soon. All right, so this is what the box looks like. It looks like a book. So I know a lot of you probably have not only TBR piles, but TBR piles that are actually boxes. Sometimes that's what happens because life happens, right? But it's kind of nice to have sort of a few of these to go along with whatever mood or season you might be in. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, this was the title for September. It was called The Lightning Bottles by Marissa Stapley. What was kind of cool about this one, it was actually a hardcover. We don't always get hardcovers from Once Upon a Book Club. And it was a fun edition where we've got these like graphic lightning bolts along the side and the black edges. There were some extras in this particular read. So usually we get like 3 to 4 different gifts, and they often include some extras. Like in this case, we actually got a QR code for a song as well as a little postcard, and that really works because this book is centered so much around music but also visual art, graphic art. So I thought those were nice inclusions. Now in addition to the book, for $49.99, I forgot to tell you guys the price, you get the book, you get the gifts inside, you also get a nice quote card, a 5x7 quote card, a corresponding bookmark. You also get the guide, which often has a nice conversation with the author. In this case, they also included a signed book plate, which I thought was a nice touch. And they have started, probably about a year ago, they started doing these collectible stickers so that you can kind of keep track of the titles that you've gotten from Once Upon a Book Club. And they have different things in their shop where you can put these stickers on a poster, on a water bottle, different things. You could do something on your own if you already have a book reading journal. You could use that for that. But what I will do, oh, I didn't even see this on the back. Somehow I didn't even notice these like lyrics that were scrawled on this back page. But this book is really beautiful. Like I said, there's a lot of beautiful details to this particular edition. And then one of the things that I really liked about this box is they do often include, in addition to the conversation with the author in the guide, and then some reading discussion questions if you are reading this as part of a book club, they actually include an author's note. And in this case, it wasn't typed, it was actually handwritten, and it included some doodles and drawings, much like what I imagine the characters in the novel would have done. So I will do my best if I can decipher this handwriting to read that if we have a little extra time. For the little extras, they always do an extra on the back page of this guide. Sometimes it's like a crossword puzzle, or sometimes it's a map, or sometimes it's just some fun facts. This time was a recipe for eclair, because for one of their celebrations, they actually have eclairs sent from France to the musical duo that is the star of the book. So I will read the blurb, and then I will also read the corresponding pages and passages to go with the gifts. Jane Pyre was once half of one of the most famous rock duos in the world, the Lightning Bottles, alongside her soulmate Elijah Hart. The Lightning Bottles emerged from the Seattle grunge scene in the early 90s and took the world by storm. And then everything came tumbling down. Elijah vanished at the height of the band's fame, and in the ensuing 5 years, Jane became the most hated and least understood woman in music. In a last-ditch attempt to get away from it all, the fans, the tabloids, her heartbreak, Jane decides to rent a house in remote Germany. But when her new teenage neighbor turns out to be a Lightning Bottles superfan, claiming to have information that might solve the mystery of what happened to Elijah, Jane realizes she can't leave her past behind. The unlikely pair embark on a road trip around Europe, chasing clues in the cities where, before everything went wrong, the Lightning Bottles played to teeming crowds of adoring fans and were at their happiest. The story of two misunderstood outsiders brought together by their shared passion for music, interwoven flashbacks to Jane and Elijah's love story and their rise to fame during the grunge era, The Lightning Bottles is a poignant and gritty love letter to music and a searing look at what happens when the stars we idolize come crashing back to earth. So it's really an indictment on celebrity and also just that sort of addiction-fueled world of music. There were lots of allusions to real bands. As someone who grew up listening to Nirvana and Hole, like a lot of these were familiar to me, and it was pretty interesting. I did find the sort of mystery element of it wrapped up a little bit too neatly. Like, I'm not opposed to a happy ending, but there were some things where I was like, wow, I don't know that people would have put two and two together necessarily, but it did make for a good story and like kind of helped have those two timelines going alongside. And I really did like that teenage neighbor hen that she winds up meeting in the book. So let me show you some of the extras that we had in this particular book, which I thought were kind of nice. One of them was a really nice QR code, like I said. So when Jane and Elijah first meet, they're kind of like online pen pals, like at the very beginning of like online forums. And he actually sends her a tape of him singing. It was Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. Frankly, the last song she would have expected him to choose to sing. A recent romantic blockbuster movie starring Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore had made it popular. And the point of liking alternative music was that you didn't listen to anything considered mainstream. So, of course, that is an allusion to Ghost. So I think this is still like in 91. So a lot of like research done to make sure that the time period was correct, as far as I know. Or it might have been even earlier in like 89. 89. I can't believe that. Ghost came out that early? That's crazy. And then we also, a few pages later, we get introduced to not only the musical element of the book, but also the graphic art element. So she does wind up finding a bunch of clues in graffiti in different walls across Europe, as suggested by that blurb. So I thought that was cool, and they did actually have the line that's referenced in the book right there, which is 2,400 miles was a long way to go for guitar lessons, because that is ostensibly the reason that Jane moves to be with Elijah and his family. All right, so we did get 3 gifts in this particular book, in addition to those 2 that I just showed you. And this one was the first one, page 91. So we get those lightning bolts right here. Then on page 132, we get this nice box that has all kinds of fun, like graffiti art scribbles on one side. And that does really kind of go along with the cover art. You can see that background there. And then finally, we have page 269, which again goes along with the quote card and just sort of the doodles, the scribbles that someone would write. And like I said, if I have time, I will try to decipher this and read it to you. But let's find our gift on page 91. Let's see if I can figure it out. So this is what it looks like when you come across a gift to open. So I don't always have the gifts with me if I'm taking the book with me on the go. So sometimes I get to open them all in one fell swoop at the very end. So this is when Elijah is still in another band, but Jane is there. She's does most of the songwriting, but she's like kind of like the girlfriend, but also part of the groupies that are there with this other band right now. So it says, a few days later, when the band and the girls filtered in the side door, Jane left the house instead of sitting and watching practice. She walked alone for an hour up and down the ordered suburban streets. When she reached the woods, she contemplated them, but turned back, not ready to get lost. She went to Elijah's room and pulled on headphones, turned on L7 to drown out what was drifting up through the floorboards. All she could think was, what good is lightning if all you do is keep it in a bottle? So, of course, there's the lightning. And so then we open this up and get our corresponding gift. So I try to unwrap things pretty neatly. Sometimes I'll send the entire book box to one of my subscribers as part of their giveaway, if I'm doing a giveaway. Sometimes there's actually a buy, sell, trade part of the Facebook group, the Once Upon a Book Club Facebook group. I usually don't manage to keep things together for that to sell the boxes, but I do have a lot of books and not enough bookshelves. So we got from Once Upon a Book Club, because they do kind of like white label a lot of the products that they have, we got some wireless headphones, and it's kind of nice. So it says, shows you how to pair it, of course, via Bluetooth. So we get a lot of, we've gotten a lot of Bluetooth speakers in past boxes, but I thought this was kind of cool. And these were a little bit different. They are a little floral for yours truly, but I do like a nice pair of wireless headphones, and these are the kind that fold up really nice. So we got these florals. Sometimes the little hole for your ear is just a little bit small, but honestly, these are pretty good. Now, I don't think they're like noise canceling and super fancy, but I think they might be really good for travel. And these ones actually fit my head a little bit better than some really fancy ones that I've gotten. And of course, they do have a charging cable as well. So I thought that was a pretty good gift, right? And definitely goes along with the music theme of the book. Then we had our next one was on page 132. Let's see if I can find this one. And again, beautiful boxes, really nice packaging that Once Upon a Book Club puts together. So 132, it was down at the bottom of the page in this case. So inside, the Roxy was a hive of activity. Everyone moved around them with a sense of urgency. Jane was hustled off to hair and makeup, but she wiped away the red lipstick they put on her and replaced it with the maroon purple shade from the little golden tube that had belonged to Alice. Soon she would have nothing left of it, but still she swiped on more, deep into the shade, until she felt like she was wearing armor. So Alice was actually Elijah's mom, but she was a really good influence because Jane did not have a good relationship with her own mother, and so Alice kind of became her mother. And so this lipstick really reminds Jane of Alice and makes her feel really strong. So doesn't look like lipstick, right? But inside we open it up, and it does have a little tag that says that this is Alice's makeup bag. It even gives us the dimensions. So this is like a little retro. It's very pink though. You guys know how I feel about pink things. But it's kind of fun as a makeup bag. It's very like spongy. It's got like loops on both sides. But she's kind of got, Alice kind of had like a hippie vibe to her. So it kind of makes sense to me. It does have a nice lining on the inside so you could wipe it clean. It's cute. It's kind of like got that like 90s vibe to it, except for the extreme pinkness of it. I don't know. But inside we do have a Wear Your Armor lipstick, which I thought was exciting. I think it's really cool when they do these sort of combo gifts that definitely go along with the title. So, you know, they didn't mention really a makeup bag in here, but we just got like the makeup bag to go along. But I'm curious to see if it is a nice maroon purple shade. I haven't opened it up yet, as you can see, because I like to do everything with you guys as much as I can in an unboxing. So this is what it looks like. So here we go. Let me see if I can open this up. Also, oh, this is pretty cool. Look at this, you guys. So it looks like a microphone. That is awesome. So I'm gonna unscrew it and see. Hopefully, oh, this is so cool. It actually says Wear Your Armor. It's a little bit lighter, like kind of a nice, almost berry mauve, I would say. It's not like purple. So they probably did a color that they felt like people would actually be able to use. But that is actually a really cool gift. I think that is awesome. All right, so that didn't sound very grunge, did it? That was an awesome gift. Sometimes they do a really good job. So some, like, even though they're floral, they do have a black background, so I can do that. The makeup bag is not my style, but I love that they did the combo. And then we have one final gift on page 269. So the whole book was only like 300 pages, not even 300 pages. So like I said, they really did spread things out nicely. This is the last gift. So let's see. Another flash of color in her frame of vision. Jane sees a green glass bottle shining from where it is tucked deep into the black sand. She is in Vik, Iceland, by the way. She picks it up and spots a little scroll inside. She thinks for a moment, then breaks it against a rock, pulls the scroll out. It's on vellum and is a drawing of the converted water pumping station in Berlin where she and Elijah played what would be their last show. The one Hen was at. In the drawing, the stage is filled with candles, and Adam is standing there, waiting. And I'm not going to read to you, just in case you decide to read this book, I'm not going to read to you what the scroll says, but there is something. Now this is interesting. I opened this up and it has the same card that says Alice's makeup bag. So I guess there's supposed to probably be a different card that says it's the bottle. It is not the bottle, but it does have a bottle on it. And there is actually a scroll on it that does seem like it might be a little bit challenging to pull out. I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to do that because I certainly don't want to break the bottle. I probably could use like tweezers to pull it out eventually, or just something that's a little bit longer to pull it out, but they did actually write out the letter that is inside the book. So kind of fun, but they did make it challenging to get it out. So I'm not going to break the bottle though, because I think this glass bottle would make a beautiful little bud vase, right? So I thought that was another great gift. It's actually glass, it's not plastic, really, really nice. But now, since we have a little bit of time, I thought this was a really great curation. It was kind of an unusual title, honestly, for Once Upon a Book Club. A lot of the times I feel like their books are a little bit like safer, but I thought this was a really a great indictment on celebrity, and just I enjoyed this book because it was different and wasn't like the kind of book that I would normally pick out for myself either. So I appreciated that. By the way, you guys, let's have a secret password. Now when you come across a secret password in one of my videos, you want to enter it along with your contact information in the Google form that is linked for you in the description box below. Please don't put the secret passwords into the comments. You do have to be 18 years or older, you do have to have US or Canadian mailing address, and you do have to be subscribed to my channel, which I can verify with you via email. But about 5 days into the following month, I will close up the entries, and then I will use a random number picker to select a few winners to receive a mystery box as my way of saying thank you for watching my videos and listening to them in their entirety. So today's secret password is going to be celebrity. And just as a reminder, it's not affiliated with YouTube or any of the boxes that I open here on the channel. So let's hear from Marissa Stapley. It says, "Dear reader, I always knew I wanted to write a novel set in the grunge era I came of age in, but it took me some time to determine the trajectory of the tale, so I started researching the musicians who captured the hearts of so many during the 90s, and of course landed on Kurt Cobain, but also Jeff Buckley, because I knew my Elijah character needed that same tattered charm and the voice of an angel. The more research I did, the more I realized that there was only one way out for either of them from their prisons of fame and addiction. As many creators do, I started thinking, what if? What if Kurt hadn't really killed himself, but instead created an elaborate plan to escape the perils of his life? What if Jack Buckley didn't drown, but rather swang away and started a new existence somewhere? The realization that escape could have a different outcome led me to the lightning bottles. But it's not Elijah's story. It was shaped and inspired by the female musicians who I came to realize were the true survivors of the scene. This novel is dedicated to the women who fought to be seen, to be heard. This love story and mystery is also a rallying cry. I hope you hear it and feel it always." That's a great letter that I feel like really adds to the experience, hearing a little bit more about her inspiration. You could definitely feel that because Jane was so vilified, even though she was doing her best to support Elijah. And I also appreciated that she was not perfect. She also had her own addictions, her own issues, and of course all exacerbated by fame, by fortune. Again, the mystery was solved a little bit too easily. It was very elaborate, and I don't know that it would have been solved that quickly, or that Elijah could have escaped discovery, or that these pieces of art would have escaped discovery without raving fans noticing as well, that this one girl in remote Germany like figured it out. But it was still a good conceit. It still worked for me. Reading some of the lyrics and not hearing the music that went along with it was a little bit tedious sometimes, because when you read lyrics, because of the rhyming, sometimes it sounds like bad poetry, but then if it is set to music, then it's so much more powerful and meaningful. So that I felt like was a hard thing for me to get in that space, to imagine it as this like soulful, like awesome song, because the lyrics can seem a little silly. But I mean, maybe that's just like a commentary on how lyrics go too, and how powerful putting them to music is. But It was an unexpected read from Once Upon a Book Club, and for me, and I enjoyed it, and I thought as a box, the curation was really, really solid. You guys let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, if you tried it out, or if you have had any really great and surprising reads this year. I'd love to hear about that as well. I will see you all very, very soon in my next unboxing, and if you got to this point and you missed it, there was a secret password, so make sure you go back and watch, and if you're looking to get anything from Once Upon a Book Club, remember Noel 10 will save you 10%.